What's up guys? We're back again with the best deck in Clash Royale after the balance changes. If you're struggling to push up ladder and you're sick of losing to dumb stuff, this is definitely the deck for you. With Tornado, Ice Wizard, and Tombstone, nothing is breaking through you, while your graveyard gets a first-class flight directly on tower. The Knight just received a 3% health point buff. The Knight will shut down and say goodnight to all of your opponent's Mega Knights and Wizards bridge spam while keeping your defenses tight. Before the buff, Starlight, the best graveyard player in the entire world, is always playing this deck. And now it's just got better. He's been preferring Knight over Champions because he has a faster cycle, allowing him to defend more cost efficiently so he can throw more graveyards at the opponent. And if you've got under-leveled cards, currently Starlight is number 32 in the world as a level 13. And he's playing this deck. Because of the solid defenses of the deck, it is by far one of the best decks in the game if you're under-leveled. Let's go jump straight some games on ladder and assert dominance. A whole lot of love to everyone that's using creator code SirTag to support the channel. All right, we got a game against NP, which stands for not perfect apparently, which is literally everyone in this world. Everyone makes mistakes, man. And hopefully you make more than me. We're gonna sauce out a good luck and we're gonna see what's happening. I'm going to go for a Barbarian Barrel, and I think that's a pretty safe play to do at the start of the game, because if you have Tornado, you're going to be able to identify any good answer to, you know, Hog Riders, any annoying Goblin Barrel decks. You're going to be able to shut those down easily. But if you've got Hog Rider and Goblin Barrel, that's where things get a bit dicey for me. I am going to go Knight to say Knight's out to that Giant Skeleton, and then I could consider going in for a Baby Dragon to finish off the Musketeer, and then Ice Wizard here, so then the Giant Skeleton's going to go towards that. So we can pull it closer to the King Tower and not have to worry about it. Typically, Musketeers completely crush Baby Dragons, but since his Musketeer was targeting the Knight for a while, we were fine. So we'll take that trade every time we can. Also, Ice Wizard, gonna give me the chip damage, baby. Come on now. Give me a little bit more chip than that. We want something. We want some little bit of love. I'm going to go in for a Barbarian Barrel since it will be able to bypass whatever he tries to body block the river with, and it will be valuable for me. And then I'm going to go in for a Tombstone here so we can completely shut down the Hog Rider. So as you guys saw, the guy decided to go for a log. So I want to make sure that we can get a Knight down so then we can guarantee that we crush the Giant Skeleton, Fire Spirit, and also Hog Rider. If you guys noticed that perfect Tombstone placement, I barely spent any elixir, and he dropped 10 elixir at the river with the Giant Skeleton, Hog Rider, and Fire Spirit, and we fully shut it down. And then because we had an elixir advantage, we threw that positive elixir trade at his tower and got some redemption with the converting it into damage. So as you guys can see, get good elixir trades on defense, throw your elixir back at your opponent, convert that to tower damage, and then get a huge lead. And that's how this deck works. So he should stop that Baby Dragon from crossing the river. If he doesn't, then the Baby Dragon's going to tank for the graveyard. That's a pretty big misplay for him. I want to go for a poison in the back, so then the Musketeer walks up into it. Yo, wait. I think the Giant Skeleton's getting touched by that too. And the Baby Dragon splashing onto the tower. This deck is so broken, guys. He hasn't even touched my tower besides some, like, fireball damage or whatever. That's nutty. All right, so we're going to go for a Tombstone. Okay, he's got Earthquake. A little bit unfortunate for me. I think that the Giant Skeleton might lock onto my tower. I don't know. I don't know where that's going. Please, 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 please. Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me right now, bro. It's going to hit me. It's going to hit hard, too. It's a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. We're going to go for a Barbarian Barrel here and then just simply poison. And one thing that we will show you is the Tombstone placement against this Hog Rider Earthquake. When he goes in for a Hog Rider, it's not going to be able to do as much damage, and we should be able to fully pull it. And if he Earthquakes, he's going to miss the Tombstone. So that's the placement you guys want to do. So when he Earthquakes, he wastes his elixir. All right, we're going to be able to Tornado here, and then I'm going to go for a Knight afterward. This is going to get blown back by the Giant Skeleton Bomb, but it's not the end of the world. And then with 200 HP on the tower, we have walked away with a win here. So just something really important to keep in mind if you do play against an Earthquake Hog Rider deck, just do that Tombstone placement and you will be fine. Again, we'll show you it again, and the Hog Rider's going to get pulled. This does not work with Cannon. This does not work with anything else. It only works with Tombstone because Tombstone has a bit of a larger pull radius than Cannon. The early King Tower activation and then shutting down the Giant Skeleton, Hog Rider, and Fire Spirit for only spending like a Tombstone, that was an incredibly satisfying positive elixir trade on defense. And we made this guy super sad, sir. All right, we got a game against Sandish. So we'll see what's happening. This guy's already giving him the laughing goblin emoji. He doesn't even know what we're playing yet. He's already laughing. I'm going to go for a Knight in the back. I feel pretty confident doing that. I've got Barb Barrel. I feel like I have enough distractions for whatever bridge spam he whips out. I think it might be a graveyard freeze deck or a graveyard with Giant. So I'm going to go for Baby Dragon here. And because we have Poison, we're going to be exceptionally safe in those type of matches. Yes, let's go. So we can go for Tombstone here. And then we can go in for a very nice Poison. Ideally, I would have Tornado the mini packet of the King Tower. But since I had Tornado last possible card, I wasn't able to make that happen. We'll make it happen in the later stages of the game. Baby Dragon is locking and loading and delivering 700 to 1,000 damage on the tower already. That's ludicrous to let that happen already, man. You're crazy. So Usually when we see Witch and Graveyard and Mini Pack, it's going to be Giant Graveyard. So that's what I'm expecting this guy to have. And this is typically what ladder's like. People will be running decks that are very, very aggressive. So I'm expecting him to go in for a Skeleton Army or Bats on top of this Graveyard, and I'm just going to Tornado it, and I'll kill it for 3 Elixir instead of dropping a 4 Elixir Poison. So I knew what his card cycle was. Oh, he dropped both of the cards that I expected. And we can just go in for a Tombstone to fully counter the Giant, and then the Bats aren't going to give him any counter push because it's not going behind his big Giant push. If he Graveyards, we don't even need to Poison. I can go in for an Ice Wizard here when a lot of stuff clumps up, and then I can go in for a Barbarian Barrel on top of all the Skeletons off to the side and shut it down and get better counter push, and also have the Ice Wizard and the Barb Barrel to clean up the Giant. If I had Poison there, the Giant would have gotten damage on my tower, but since I used Ice Wizard and I used Barb Barrel, he did nothing. So I'm just going to be real with you guys for a second. This deck stomps all of the annoying decks on ladder. You guys hate playing against Mega Knight. You hate playing against Giant Graveyard. You hate playing against any stupid ladder deck that just has a lot of bait cards. Since you have so much splash damage and safety, you're not going to get screwed over. Also, I'm expecting him to go in for a Baby Dragon or Bats or something. Or, yeah, I thought he was going to go Bats on top of the Knights, and then we could go Baby Dragon prediction on it. Didn't really work out. It's still fine because I can go in for a Graveyard with a Baby Dragon crossing the river. And then we force out a Witch, so he can't spontaneously spam as much as he would typically want to. And then we can Tornado on the Skeleton Army to finish it off. And then we only have to go for a Barbarian Barrel on top of the Witch. And notice how he has no Elixir, so that Giant is all alone. Santa Claus has no friends. Santa Claus has no family. I'm able to go in for a Poison here, Ice Wizard, Knight, and then go in for Barbarian Barrel if he wants to go in for a Graveyard, which he shouldn't do. If he doesn't, then we can go for a Tombstone and fully shut that down and get even better counter push. And this is going to be fun. I will activate King Tower with that, and we should have no issues with the Mini P.E.K.K.A. So we'll always vibe with that. If we can activate King Tower against Mini P.E.K.K.A.s, you guys will see that happen every single time. In fact, no matter what I can activate King Tower with, I will be doing that when we're playing against Graveyard decks. Yo, the Knight is locking and loading on the tower. It even delivered a hit. Let's freaking go. So you guys already know that he has to go for Giant at the river to stop this Baby Dragon. If he doesn't, he's screwed. Oh my gosh. Giant Graveyard players, I'm telling you right now. He went for the most delayed Mini P.E.K.K.A. of his life, and you love to see it. I think that this guy is actually a pretty good player. A lot of people say that Giant Graveyard players are not good. Most of them are way better than you would think, and this guy played pretty well too. But it is a lower skill deck, and beating it is unbelievably satisfying. All right, we got a game against someone that's got Sweat That Spam. Dude, I am ready for you to bridge spam into my Tornado and all my amazing counters. The only thing I don't like about this is the fact that he goes in for a Goblin Barrel, my Tornado, and my Barb Barrel out of cycle. So, you know, I'm ready if I'm actually ready with the correct cards, all right? I got to rephrase that statement. I'm going to straight up Poison on top of the Dark Goblin, and I can Graveyard depending on what's happening. Of course, he's going to be running Mighty Miner and probably Cannon, even though they're about to get nerfed. He's probably still running the exact deck that almost everyone in the meta is playing. So I'm going to go in for a Barbarian Barrel on top of the Goblin Barrel if it's off to the side. Otherwise, I'm going to activate King Tower. That was a really interesting ability because he wasted 1 Elixir. He did remove the Tombstone, but I don't know if that's the right decision for him. So yeah, that's slightly off to the left-hand side, so I can just Barb Barrel and clean it up for a +1 Elixir trade. And then he's going to go in for a Dark Goblin for sure. So I am planning on being able to finish that off with either a Poison or killing it with my Baby Dragon. And then when that's out of cycle, I go in for a Baby Dragon Graveyard and just pop off. I mean, I think that's a better play. I think that's a much better decision. So I'm going to Baby Dragon here. The Knight is going to be able to soak up the Ice Spirit, and then I Graveyard. And Baby Dragon is going to stay at very high health points while the Cannon is coming down. You know what? I can make this man frown with the Poison. Because if I continuously get chip damage on the tower and the Skeletons are making sure that the Mighty Miner is just perpetually distracted, looks pretty good for us. Remember, he's got Dark Goblin, so I don't have to worry about Princesses coming down at the river. And if he goes in for a Goblin Barrel, you guys already know the deal. I am 100% Tornadoing that if it's off to the side, which, I mean, he drops it off to the side and doesn't drop it in the correct spot. So even though he's doing some damage, it's well worth the King Tower activation. He didn't drop it in the super safe spot, so I was like, yeah, you know what? If it's just off to the side, that's easy. All right. Usually, how he's going to be playing this game is he's going to try to rocket cycle me. So I don't want to drop any Baby Dragons or any Knights behind my tower. That is an off-limit zone. So I'm playing on going for like Baby Dragons here and then Knights here, so then he can't rocket everything in time. All right, we can Graveyard right now because the Dark Goblin's out of cycle. It's going to take him another 3 cards to get back to it, so I don't know what he was thinking. Obviously, he's going to have to go Mighty Miner Skeletons, and then he's back to Dark Goblin, which we can then Poison. So I'm going to drop the Poison a little bit further back so the Dark Goblin walks up into it a little bit faster. Pretty important stuff. That's off to the right-hand side. You can look at the shadow of the Goblin Barrel and then deduce where it's going to be. So he's already dropping 4 Elixir, 5 Elixir, just into a bad trade. That's pretty nice for us. We can go in for a Tornado here, and then I think that we're going to be able to soak up the majority of the damage. I'm going to Ice Wizard off to the side. I don't know why he's doing that either. He's trying to get tricky out here, but you can't trick me, man. We've perfected our Ice Wizard placements, apparently. All right, so he's going to go in for another Dark Goblin and Mighty Miner soon, so I can just go in for a Knight. Yeah, Dark Goblin comes down. I easily poison that every single time. and then I can Tombstone on top of the Mighty Miner so it locks out of that and hopefully gets distracted by skeletons. I think that's slightly further back, so I'm going to adjust my Barbarian Barrel. We have not missed one even once, baby. That's what I'm talking about. And then we can go in for an Ice Wizard here and then go in for a Knight. So he did outcycle me, so a little bit unfortunate. But you guys noticed that the Ice Wizard spawn damage hit every single one of the goblins. Got to perfect that timing if you guys haven't already. All right, do we want to go in for a Graveyard here? I think it's worth it, because if he goes in for a Dark Goblin, we immediately poison it. He's going to go for a Cannon, too, or he has to. Ooh, those skeletons were so spicy. That was incredible. Let's go, guys. The Ice Wizard slowing down the Mighty Miner. He might even have to click the ability to go to the other side and damage down the Baby Dragon. He is so incredibly tilted. He is running the best version of Log Bait into us, by the way. I'm going to go in for a Tornado, because I want to be able to kill the Dark Goblin. I just want to poison twice. I was hopeful that would be able to kill the Dark Goblin. I didn't really care about the King Tower activation. That was kind of a disrespectful maneuver, but it is what it is. That's just going to get shut down by a Barbarian Barrel. I don't have to worry about it. We poison twice, and we walk away with a very easy win. So as you guys can see, I love this stack, and if you guys hate playing against Log Bait like I do, typically all you need to do is just know how to counter the Goblin Barrel with a Barbarian Barrel, and when you do, you're not going to be taking any damage. This guy was struggling to get damage the entire time, and he felt like a super sad sir. So the only damage he ever got was Rocket, and that was at the very end, and he kind of just gave up because he's like, I'm not going to wait out the poison cycle. I hate that Log Bait deck more than anything because Mighty Miner, Cannon, and Dark Goblin are so incredibly overpowered right now, so it's awesome to destroy it and make that person tilted. Whenever we're playing Splashyard, we've got some of the best defenses in the entire game, so throw stuff at me, and we got answers. I'm going to Tornado here, take no damage from the Hog Rider as long as we don't push it too far with the Knight. I was looking at it, I was like, yo, Knight, you're not going to screw me right now, bro. You're not going to go and push the Hog Rider outside of the range of the Tornado. I have done that before, and it is not a pretty experience. So activating King Tower at the start is really nice because then I won't have to spend as much elixir afterward. Okay, super easy poison value. Let's freaking go. And I thought this was going to be Hog Rider Earthquake for a second. One thing to keep in mind if you are playing against Hog Rider Earthquake, do the Tombstone in this placement when the Hog Rider is coming at you in the opposite side. And what happens is the Tombstone is going to pull the Hog Rider, and it will not even need anything to push it. Like if you go for a Cannon in that spot, you'll need something to push the Hog Rider into the Cannon. But the Tombstone still pulls it, and then the Earthquake will always miss. So I'm hoping he's got an Earthquake deck to show you guys what we can do. But I think this is the Denecito Wizard Fast Cycle Hog Rider deck with Fireball, Log, Tornado, and Wizard and Fireball. So I don't think it's the deck that we were scared about. Yeah, so we're just going to Barb Barrel on that, clean up the Wizard. He can't Skeleton Army right now. He's got to go Giant Skeleton, so he's spending way more elixir than he should. Feels fantastic. And if he Fireballs, it's not that big of a concern. I can go in for a Tombstone here and then Knight. I think that the Wizard locks onto the Knight, and then the Tombstone's going to clean up the rest of his stuff. That was actually a pretty good play on his end, but it's not the end of the world because Ice Wizard's going to kill fire. Let's go! Hey, they told you fire melted ice, but they lied. It was a facade at all the points in life. All right, maybe I can go in for a Graveyard here with a Baby Dragon and then Tornado on top of the Skeleton Army because that's literally all he has because he doesn't have Wizard back in cycle. It's going to be so hard for him to defend this. Wait, what is he doing? Oh my gosh, he has to go for Knight and then he has to Log and he's going to take so much damage. My goodness. So he's got Wizard in cycle with Hog Rider, and the Baby Dragon's also locking onto the tower to do more splash damage. As you guys can see, if you guys hate playing against mid-ladder decks, this is literally a Wizard deck that you might be playing against a lot. You're not going to have any issues. All of your cards are really robust, so they don't die to Wizard. Even if they do lock onto your Tombstone, you can go for Ice Wizard, you can go for Tornadoes, you can go for Knights and cycle back to it, and then have no problems. This guy's going to go for a Hog Rider. His only damage that he's ever going to get on me is going to be Fireball damage, guys. He will never get a Hog Rider hit for the rest of this game, I promise you. I'm going to go for a Poison, and I think he's going to go in for like a Skeleton Army or something. Maybe he goes Knight. I don't know. Yeah, he goes in for a Knight. Sick. So I fully expect us to get a lot of value with the Baby Dragon here and then Graveyard. I know that it's going to get outside of the vicinity, so I won't have to worry about that. I can Tornado so everything gets clumped up so the Baby Dragon locks onto the tower. We're getting ready for him to go in for a Hog Rider with a Fireball. As you guys can see, this game was just way too easy. I think that I can Poison here if I really wanted to, but it's better for us to just play safe and then use the Poison here instead. And then Barb Barrel afterward if I really want to. Yeah, so he's gotten some Fireball damage again. That's kind of what I told you guys. He would get that, but I mean, at the same time, is that something that's very scary to me? Not really. I'm going to go in for a Tornado on the Skeleton Army that has to come down because that's his only available card that he has to counter it. And then we win the game with Skeletons. We don't even need to go for a Graveyard Tank because it was just that easy. As you guys can see, this is literally the best deck in the game at mid-ladder or any lower trophy ranges than the top 1,000 in the world. I win most of the games that I play with this without any issues. And now we're 8,400 in the world. All right, so jumping into the action, the guy is not cycling much at the start, so I'm going to go for a Tombstone at the start. This is a little bit risky if your opponent has Ram Rider and you cycle your Tombstone early. Yeah, they could snipe it and then go Ram Rider, and then because you don't have any way of stunning the Ram Rider, it's going to get a lot of tower damage. Also, Very unlucky. 500 damage from the Goblin Drill. Sometimes it will disperse onto the Knight. Sometimes it will go onto the tower. And in that situation, it went directly on my tower and it did a lot more damage than it usually would. It is what it is. I'm going to Baby Dragon at the river because we're already up a lot with skeletons. And I think we're going to be able to splash onto his tower here. Wow, he's going to try Tornado and then activate King Tower. But the thing is, even if you activate King Tower there, I'm going to get a lot of extra value with poisons on you. And because we're up 1,300 damage, I feel comfortable, you know? I don't like playing against Goblin Drill, but it's not the end of the world. I'm going to go for Tornado on the first Goblin here, and then activate King Tower, and then Barbarian Barrel afterwards so we don't take any more damage from the Goblins. So both of us have activated King Tower. Not necessarily as good for me because Graveyard really relies on knocking that King Tower activated. The 3 crowns shooting at all of my skeletons will make me sad. Whereas the Goblin Drill, it's going to be easier to defend, but it's not going to neuter the win condition. So against people that are good like this guy, genuinely just want to go for poison damage to win the game at this point. Maybe he's going to mess up. Maybe he's going to go in for a Golden Knight and we can kill it with a Knight and then get counter push again. We'll have to wait and see. I don't expect him to go Golden Knight right now, but if he does, it's not the best play. Okay, so he thought he was going to Graveyard with the Baby Dragon. He just did a -1 trade. That's beautiful. Because I can just poison the tower and say, well, I wasn't going to go for a Graveyard anyway. And we'll get a good trade. So he's going to Magic Archer here almost certainly. Oh, wow, he didn't. He decided to go in for a Golden Knight. I'm going to go for a Tombstone up high so then he can go and click the ability and he can't get a Magic Archer onto our tower. Wow, Golden Knight is a very strong card. That is unbelievable that you got that damage there. It is what it is. I mean, I wasn't expecting that to work out so well for our opponent, but it'd be how it be. I can go for a Baby Dragon. I can go for a Graveyard on the right-hand side. We know he's going to have Magic Archer, and I don't think he's going to Inferno Tower this. It wouldn't make sense for him to continuously Inferno Tower for -1 trade. I guess he's just really scared. Fine. It is what it is. We're expecting him to go in for another Magic Archer, so we're just going to go for Tombstone. If we get 1 Skeleton hit, I'll be happy. I don't think I'm going to even get 1, but it is what it is. We're expecting him to go Magic Archer, so I'm going to go Ice Wizard to make the prediction. Yep, nice. It's pretty easy to know that he's going to do that, so I can Barbarian Barrel and finish it off. And even though the Magic Archer gave him like a lot of damage there, it would have been way worse is what I'm trying to say. I can Graveyard with the Baby Dragon tanking because now he doesn't have Elixir because we went for Goblin Drill at that exact moment. And then we can go for a Knight off to the side. He's been very lucky with the Goblins consistently locking onto my tower there. I don't know how or why that's happened, but he's gotten that to lock onto my tower instead of my Knight every single time. It's pretty ridiculous to think about that. All right, we're going to do a Bar Barrel, clean it up with 1 more hit. And we're currently losing the game. It's still winnable. It's just not been very lucky from the Goblin Drill perspective of always locking on my tower. Pretty annoying, to be honest. All right, we're going to Tombstone preemptively so then we can counter the Goblin Drill with Skeletons. I don't think he's going to do anything here. I think that the Goblins are just going to die, so I won't have to spend any extra Elixir. He won't be able to Magic Archer since I don't have any counter push here. Looking like it'll probably be a loss because that was a good King Tower activation at the start, and then I guess his Goblins are just RNG gods or something. All right, we're going to follow up with a Baby Dragon, and then maybe I can Graveyard depending on what happens. We know he's going to go in for a Magic Archer soon, so it's going to be difficult for me to make this happen. I think I want to go for a Tombstone just so he can't. Ice Wizard will be able to give us a lot of damage, and then I'm going to go in for a Graveyard. We know he's going to go for a Magic Archer, so we're going to go in for a Barbarian Barrel here to stop the potential of him doing that. This is a super obvious play, so I had to shut it down. You guys already know the deal. Man, with the King Tower activated, this game has become way more difficult for me. I'm going to go for a Knight preemptively so we can body block it. He's not going to have Magic Archer back for a while, so we can go in for an Ice Wizard here so then the Fire Spirit jumps onto that instead of my tower. And then I can go in for another Baby Dragon in the Graveyard. This has just been like kind of doing the exact same plays over and over and over again. Hopefully we can eventually get damage with the Barbarian Barrel and the Baby Dragon or something. That'd be pretty nice, to be honest. I'm just trying to get something here. So we're going to go for the Tornado, and I think the Skeletons are going to start to swarm him, which is beautiful. We can go for a high Ice Wizard. I'm expecting him to go for a Tornado soon. If not, we can go in for a Tombstone here. And you know what? I think I am outplaying him a bit. I don't know if it's going to be enough for us to win, but I can hope so. We're going to go in for 1 more Baby Dragon in a Graveyard here, and I don't think he's going to be able to take tower with that, so then he has to go in for another Goblin Drill. This time I hope that the Knight is able to counter it. Thank goodness. I had no clue what that Knight was going to do, but it finally was able to stop all of the Goblin damage. As you guys can see, even if they activate King Tower against your Graveyard, you can win the game if you just consistently poison them out. That guy was actually a pretty good player too. Just going to go and check his profile afterward. Yeah, so he finished 3,000 in the world last season at well over 7,300 trophies. While he activated King Tower and had an amazing start, we were still able to outplay him. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more daily videos, and have an incredible rest of your day.